Tadparamparyaaya Vidmahe Jnanalingeshwaraya Dhimahi Tanno Guruः Prachodayate Om. Om Yoga Maharishi Dr. Swami Gita Ananda Giri Guru Maharaj Ki Jai. Namaste, Swagatam, Vanakkam, and welcome back to another one of our morning sessions, 61 to be precise. And it's nice that so many of you are continuing to be present, because I think that is a very big commitment to be present, and not just physically present, we are mentally, emotionally, spiritually, psychically, and online presence. Have to add the ethereal online presence to things these days. Today, I felt we will take the Chakra pranayama and Chakra dhyana a little further. And as we were describing yesterday, the 6 chakras that are there: Mooladhara at the base of the spine, Swadhisthana at the pelvic region, Manipura, the navel center, Anahata, the heart center, Vishuddha, the throat center. You have 5 spinal centers, and then at the brow, you have the brow center, which is the Agya. So you have 5 spinal and 1 cerebral center, so they are the cerebro-spinal centers. Okay, 1 cerebral center, that is the Agya, which is the highest one of the 6. And the lower 5 spinal centers that are related to all the different sensory apparatus that we have and our sensory motor functioning. When we are doing the Chakra pranayama, we visualize our body as a big building, and you could visualize each of these chakras as one of the floors of that building. So your whole spine is a big building, and at ground level you have Mooladhara. That is why it is associated with the earth element. So ground floor is Mooladhara, first floor Swadhisthana, second floor Manipura, third floor Anahata, fourth floor, what did I do here? I got that. Yeah, okay, fine. And then, yeah, it's correct, because I started ground floor as 0. So because of that 0, this is creating a confusion in the numbering, because we are used to saying Manipura 1. Mooladhara 1. So we have to go back a little bit here. But Mooladhara is actually ground floor. So you are coming up through these centers, and then you come to basically the Agya. So if Mooladhara is ground floor, this is going to be 5th floor. Okay. If that is 1st floor, this is 6th floor. I leave that numbering conundrum to you to work out. The idea is that you have these different floors, and imagine you have an elevator. You have an elevator, and that elevator is moving smoothly up and down this spinal axis. That is what is being worked on when we work with the Chakra pranayama, and then later on it becomes a Chakra dharana, Chakra dhyana. Now here you are not initially focusing on the chakra, you are just focusing on the flow of pranic energy from the base of the spine coming up to the brow and going back down. So initially we will do a few rounds of the Sukha pranayama, where we'll use a 6 count, and we will be coming up. As you breathe in, you come up; as you breathe out, you go down. Now there are other practices where the breath is reversed, but they are specific practices. This is a specific technique, which is Chakra pranayama, a specific technique. Now in other techniques, there are other breathing patterns. So do not confuse, in that technique we do it down and this we do it up, which is correct. Both are correct. It is just different technique. It's like, different words are used in different sentences, and they will be in different places. It doesn't mean that every sentence has to start with the and end with, something else. No, there can be permutation, combination based on what you want to communicate. So the techniques are like different modes of communication. Hence, do not get confused if this breath pattern is dissimilar to other techniques. It is a very similar concept here. Now what happens, and Manjari has asked a good question, because Many people think of the chakras as being on the front or the back of the body. They are not on the front or the back of the body. They are energy vortices that are spiraling around your spinal axis. And that is why this is a continuation of our spinal series. And I think we are on 15th session of the yoga and the spine. Now we have gone from the physical to a little bit of the psychic and metaphysical aspect. So your spinal axis is the central column. So these are energies that it is like at each level, if this is the spinal column, the energies are circulating like this. They are not circulating on the front of the body or the back of the body. That is only t-shirts. Chakra t-shirts are on the front or the back of the body. The chakras are not. The chakras are at that plane. So when you say Mooladhara, it is at that base plane. It is circulating in a clockwise direction. So a clockwise direction with the center is your spine. So it is circulating with the fulcrum, the center of your spine. Similarly, the next one is at that level. So it is like a different plane. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, it is like this. Now here the energies are circulating clockwise. Up here there's no circulation because it is a 2-petal lotus, Ajna, which represents the 2 brains, right and left brains. So the energy just moves from right to left, left to right, right to left, left to right. It is this type of movement. It's not circular here anymore. So here the energies are like that. So when we are going up and down, we are traveling up and down our spine. It is like doing a Danda Yatra. Now you are having a journey up and down your spine. Your spine is the central focus. It is not the front of the body or the back of the body, but basically the energy moving up and down your whole spinal axis. Central spinal axis. That is actually what we are working on. So we'll do a few rounds of the Sukha Pranayama in a 6-6. We will then start making it a Savitri Pranayama, where it will become a 6 and a 3. So you will be breathing in for 6, holding the 3 at the brow center, breathing out for 6, and holding the 3 at the Mooladhara. And remember, when we do this Savitri Pranayama or any Pranayama where we are holding in the breath, Aprakasha Mudra, where you are swallowing. So you breathe in and swallow. When you swallow like that, it is a safety valve so that you do not harm yourself while holding the breath. It is the equivalent of what we do in many of the Bandha practices, Jalandhara Bandha and other things. So the Aprakasha Mudra, and for those who are new to this, you have to go back and look at some of the old videos where I've talked in detail about this. It is tough to find the videos on Facebook, the past videos, and even I struggle in my own account. So what I suggest is if you go to the YouTube account, I have uploaded all of them on YouTube. So it's much easier to search on YouTube for the sequence of the videos of this 61, today is the 61st. So 60 sessions are there on YouTube under the YOGNAT 2001 account. And so you can find them there. Okay? Now let's get down to business. Sitting with your spine erect, aligning the lower, middle and upper parts of your spine, your neck and your head, making sure that you are in a steady and solid posture where you can be at ease with yourself, a bit of sthira and sukha in the asana. Now breathing out. As you breathe in from the base of the spine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now from the brow center coming down as you breathe out. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathing out. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing in as the energy moves up the spine and coming up through the spine to the brow center, the Ajna. And as you breathe out, the energy moving from the Ajna, coming down the spine, back to the base. Breathing in, coming up the spine, the journey up the spine to the brow center. And as you breathe out, the journey down from the brow center through the other centers to the base of the spine. Now let's perform it with the Savitri. So breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At the brow center, hold, 2, 3. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And at the base, holding out, 2, 3. Breathing in, coming up, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Holding at the brow center, 2, 3. Breathing out and coming down, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Holding out at the base center, 2, 3. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Breathing in, the energy moving up the spine, coming up to the brow center, holding at the brow center, 2, 3. Breathing out and letting the energy come down with the breath through the spinal centers and coming down to the base center and holding the breath out at the base center, 2, 3. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Now as you make this journey, let these centers fill with beautiful colors and energies, each of them having their own characteristic. At the base of the spine, you have the red color, whereas at the top, you have the violet. That same rainbow colors of big beer, Bigbyor, but keep the red at the base. So you have to go from the base, which is the red, and as you come up the spine, you go through that in the reverse. So Bigbyor. So first you have the red, then you have the orange, then you have the yellow. So coming up that way. And then you come up to the indigo. You're not going up to the violet because we are not going into the seventh center presently. And then coming down. Being a bit more aware of these energy centers having multiple petals, vibrating at different frequencies, bringing out so many characteristics in us and innervating the function of so many vital neurological and endocrinological functions of our own body. Continuing this breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Now this time as we breathe in, we are going to come up and then go up to the top of the head where we'll release the breath. So this time, breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and going beyond the top of the head into a beautiful energy center, the Sahasrara, the 1,000-petal lotus. And letting the breath go out into this center. The breath is not coming down anymore. Letting the breath out into this center and just letting yourself be in this beautiful center, the 1,000-petal lotus, the Sahasrara Chakra, that amazing cosmic energy. The Sahasrara symbolizes all the higher centers, the under chakras, the 6 under chakras, the energies coming together in the Sahasrara, just above the top of the head, having this experience of the breath in that space and just allowing your mind to open up to the beautiful energies that are there. Cosmic energies that we can connect through, cosmic energies that open up to us when we open the channels. When the channels of communication open up between the individual and the cosmos, these energies come alive and from above, from the subtle and the causal layers of existence, they come down in a harmonious manner, enabling us to manifest the best of ourselves, physically, emotionally, socially, spiritually. Enjoy that beautiful sense of being suspended in this highest center, energy just enabling you to have a beautiful sense of being suspended up. While being in this, just listen to a few times the sound of Om and let that ring through you, or you can also make it from inside. Enjoy the beautiful state of existence when we are letting our consciousness reside in the highest of the centers, enabling a free, uninterrupted flow between the cosmos and our individuality, enabling that cosmic Mahaprana to flow through us as an individual, energizing all the Dvadasha pranas, the 12 pranas that enable us to be what we are. the 5 pranavayus, the 5 upapranavayus, and the 2 parapranavayus, enabling us to manifest in totality our potential. To come out of this state, slowly start to wiggle your fingers and toes a little bit. It's always good to start with the extremities to bring our mind focus back into the body, moving the toes and fingers and then rubbing the palms together, generating a very nice, warm, pranic solstice in the palms. Ayam me hasto Bhagavan, the divine works through our hands. Placing the warm hands over the eyes for a few moments, letting the warmth from the hands percolate into the eyes and through the optic nerve and the nervous system, energize the whole brain with a healthy, beautiful sense of pranic infusion. Start to blink into the darkness, and then as you bring your hands down, slowly coming back to the light outside. The Chakra pranayama and the Chakra dhyana, a very beautiful practice. And as your own knowledge of the prana grows, and as your own knowledge of the chakras is expanded, this practice takes on deeper meaning. Initially, it is just going up and down the spine, and finally, getting into a space above you, a very beautiful space that is just above us, beyond us. The Purusha Suktam says that the Purusha, the divine consciousness, the pure consciousness, pervades the whole universe, and Dashangulam, 10 finger breadths beyond it, slightly beyond it. So whatever we are, whatever our space is, a space just beyond it. Indian culture always believes that there has to be the highest and then something beyond it. So we say there are the gunas, and then we say gunatita. We say there are the avastha, and then we say there has to be avasthaya atita, as the Ganesha Atharva Sirsha tells us. Gunatraya atitaha, dehatraya atitaha, kalatraya atitaha, avasthaya atitaha, atita, beyond. And that is why, they always say, oh, you have Jagrat, which is the wakefulness. You have Swapna, which is dreamful sleep. Shushupti, the dreamless sleep. And then they say, beyond that, there's Turiya. And you're like, wow, that's wonderful. And they say, wait, there's something beyond it. Turiya Atita. So Indian culture has always understood that just when you think you have got there, there's something beyond it. And it's a very beautiful concept because it means that you never stop growing. I think, the moment we think this is all I am and I've reached my potential, I think that is the worst day because you stop growing after that. It is like the people who think they have learned it all and then they stop learning. The day you stop learning is the day you stop living, because learning and living go together. And learning is not what comes from books. Learning is what comes from life experiences. When your life experiences teach you these concepts, and when these concepts come alive through you, there's a beautiful transformation that occurs. So when we are talking about the chakras, as you start, initially you say, oh, there are 6 chakras, Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, and you know the name. Then you start to say, oh, Mooladhara is associated with earth element, Swadhisthana with water. You get some more information. Then you get more information. Mooladhara is related to the sense of smell and locomotion. Like that, you get some more information. Then someone says, oh, the colors. A very general rule of thumb. I don't like to get into the colors of chakras because it is such a confusing place where there's so much of misinformation. I think the worst misinformation on the net, if you want to find, is in the field of chakras. It is like stunning, the misinformation there. But just for a rule of thumb, normally when we talk about it, we like to talk about the petal colors. So we talk about the petal colors, we talk about the petals, but the color of the chakra as such, we don't talk much. But a very general rule of thumb is, as I said, if you consider the spectrum and the big beer, Vigbyor. Okay, so you have Vigbyor, and you keep the violet at the top for Sahasrara, you keep the red at the bottom for Mooladhara, you are more or less on track. Okay, so don't worry if different books say different things, and nowadays artists who have amazing skill create amazing artistry which is beautiful. But again, it's beautiful, but it may not be real. And again, I go back to my yoga research guru, mentor, Professor Madan Mohan, who used to have, he always has amazing statements to make. And one amazing statement he makes is, you would have gone on and on and on and said something, and he says, you have just been talking beautiful nonsense. And I love that concept, beautiful nonsense. Where, it is beautiful, but it makes no sense. And often you find a lot of that in the world today. See, we need to realize that it has to make sense to you as an individual. It has to resonate with you as an individual. And again, people say, isn't this color fixed? And what I like to say is that, again, you cannot really fix the color totally, because each person's perspective will be different. It is like all of us don't see the same red. When somebody is wearing a red t-shirt or even this blue t-shirt, everybody doesn't see it as the same blue. Yet it is blue. Now some will argue it's dark blue, some will say it's closer to being black, and you have all of that nonsense going on. But essentially, all of us don't perceive the colors the same way. We don't perceive light the same way. And so because of that, I think it is essential that we realize these inner colors and these inner lights also may not be perceived in the same way. So these are general guidelines, which is why I again come back to big beer, violet at the top, red at the bottom. And there's the spectrum in between. They're not just 7 colors. We think, 7 colors of the spectrum. No. It is infinite spectrum. So the spectrum is infinite. And whenever you have tried to, change colors of fonts and other things on the computer, and you get into one of those things where you have to select the colors, it's very beautiful, because you start to realize how many versions of yellow there are, how many versions of blue there are, and you start to realize it is not just one color. So keep it as a spectrum, have a generalized guideline, and then you start to try to feel what is the color that comes awake for you at that point. Now, it cannot be totally different. See, the thing is, if somebody says, in Mooladhara I saw green, I would say, well, maybe there's a very big issue with perception, because it could be a different type of red, and there could be many, many varieties. And yes, Bernadette, we do not perceive a rainbow in the same way. And I think a few months ago, I had a beautiful experience when I was in Malaysia and saw what was nearly a complete rainbow. I tell you, it was an amazing experience, because most of the time we don't see it. So let us learn to perceive things from inside. Let us learn to trust our perception and fine-tune our perception, so our perception is as close to reality as it can be. Till then, see you all later. Have a wonderful day or night or whatever it is in your part of the world. Thank you for being with me. Namaste.